Hi everyone, this is Penny and welcome to the Raw Root channel where we get to the root of the issue. What we're going to be talking about today and in upcoming videos is the benefits of blending. Now, blending, adding that into your diet is really key for getting plenty of nutrition. A lot of people are blending, a lot of people are juicing. A lot of amazing ways to get nutrition, more nutrition into your diet on a regular basis. I have some very basic things here today, very basic ingredients, super easy to find at your grocery store, just so that you could get started. And if you're not already blending and getting some nutrition in, what most people call smoothies. I don't like to call them smoothies. I think of smoothies as a lot of fruit base and a lot of additional sugar, more so than what I put into my blends. I really like to blend up my nutrition as often as a couple times, even 3 times a day sometimes, so that I am getting all of the nutrition I possibly can, especially if for some reason I've been off track or been traveling, have issues with getting a lot of nutrition in during those times. It's best to kind of clean out your system and get yourself back on track to really use this blending process to really get some more nutrition. So I basically want to point out that if you have a decent diet, or most people think maybe they're eating a decent healthy diet, or they pick good choices when they go out to eat, so that constitutes them eating healthy, when in fact we can do a lot better most of the time. And if you can just look at your diet in a whole and how much of your diet is plant-based, are you eating any fruits and vegetables? If so, how many? And how much of that is raw fruits and vegetables, where you're eating it from the whole food form and eating it raw without being cooked or processed in some way. Basically, looking at your diet that way, if you have a percentage of 50% raw on a daily basis, so 50% of your diet comes from, say, a couple blends of all of your nutrition a day, and then also maybe salad or vegetable-based stir fry, something to that effect, then you're getting a good amount of fruits and vegetables into your diet most likely every day. If you're not, you really need to be striving for that. That is a first small goal in your pursuit of better health. So depending on whatever health issue you have, maybe it's that you have some chronic illness, or you're healing from an injury, or you have a disease, anything can be benefited by better nutrition. And a lot of times I think, again, we think we're eating a healthy diet, and in fact our cells are inflamed, and inflammation is the root cause, again, root cause of any issue we endure in our bodies, whether it's a disease, cancer, any kind of chronic illness and injury. It's an inflammation in the cells, and we want to bring that inflammation down in our systems, keep our systems at a level of acidity down and more alkali, pH balanced. And the way to do that is to get more of the good stuff in and keep more of the bad stuff out. So by starting your day with a blend like this, you can really start to feel the difference in your energy levels and just how exciting it is to see the change in your body, the change in your skin, the change in just your activity throughout the day, and how clear-headed you can become from eating healthier, even just starting your day with a blend and changing nothing else. But the process of beginning somewhere is where it starts. And once you get that habit created, you can look at other areas of your life where you can start making changes. And we're going to be promoting more healthy recipes and things like that on this channel as well, so be sure to subscribe when you get a chance. And then in future videos we're going to be going over other ones and kind of more information on what types of products you can have around the house, staples that you can have around that will make blending much easier and getting healthy nutrition in your family's life much easier. So I want to begin with just mentioning that we do use high wattage blenders for our blending. So we don't use just a regular blender, not going to name any names, but they just don't really cut it. So they're not getting, what we're attempting to do when we blend is break down the cellular wall and extract as much nutrition from that plant as possible. So we want to break down the cellular wall, which means we need a high enough wattage to burst through the cellular wall, which then releases as much nutrition as it possibly can, more so than you even just chewing, because a lot of us do not chew long enough to liquefy our foods, and our digestion process, that slows down. So when we actually blend at a high wattage, we pre-digest the food, so it is easier absorbed into our system. One regular heavy meal can take anywhere from 4 to 16 hours to actually digest. So we want to really be looking at how is it that we're eating and what is it that our bodies are having to go through. It takes a long process to digest a big meal, and this is a way of getting this right into your system and cleaning out our gut, which is another thing we'll be discussing in future videos, which is so important for our health and overall well-being, because in our gut is where we absorb all of our nutrients. So speaking of nutrients, we have a ton of nutrient-based foods here. Nothing here is without tons of nutrients. Most of these things are superfoods, as I'm sure you've heard in the media more recently. The first thing I'm going to start with is a couple cups of greens. Now, when you're starting out, if you're not used to having greens or having a lot of vegetables, this may taste overwhelming, so I would say cut it back to about a cup. I'll be putting the ingredients below in the comments so you guys can look at the ingredients again. But just to go over it, I use about 2 cups, 2.5 cups of greens per blend, and I absolutely love it because I'm used to having that many. And I have that on at least a daily basis, if not a couple times a day, and my family does as well. Next, I'm going to be putting in some super antioxidant berries, mixed berries. These are frozen mixed berries, and these are organic. I suggest any chance you get, go with organic any chance you get. Only because we don't want all of those pesticides in our systems. It takes a lot. It's a lot of toxins that our bodies have to try and process, especially your greens. I didn't mention, but greens for sure go with what's on sale in the organic section if you can't afford anything else. If you can afford whatever you want, obviously go with a mixture of greens. I always tell people, mix it up. Use what you want. Stay with the same thing if you want to. Whatever works. I know some stores carry organic section. They have at least green kale on sale for like 99 cents a bunch all week, every week. So just look for what's on sale and buy in bulk. You can always freeze some of that, and we're going to get into that in further videos as well. So again, you don't want pesticides on those delicate leafy greens going into your system. It's just way too much, and it doesn't cost you hardly anything more to buy organic when it comes to your greens especially. Now, as far as my frozen fruit, I use about a cup of fruit per blend, sometimes a little bit more, especially with kids or when you're starting out, and if you don't like vegetables that much, you're getting used to the green flavor, use a little bit more then. Start with what you can tolerate, and that is the beginning, just starting. If you have one of these high watt blenders, use it. That's the biggest thing you have to do. If you need to get one, get one. There are single-use ones that are smaller, that are less expensive, super high wattage, and nutrient extractors. They really work very well. That's actually one of my favorites. I can take those with me anywhere. I just grab the little to-go cup, use it, put the same amount that I'm putting in here, and I blend it up, take it with me. And it has lids and everything else, makes it super simple. Get what you can afford, but work at getting one. If you don't have one, work at it. It should be 600 watts and above, should be a nutrient extractor of some sort, not just a low watt, whatever blender. You're gonna spend your money there just as well as you're gonna spend your money on something. Start small, get a bigger one. If you've got a family, save for it. It is worth its weight in gold. So the next ingredient, getting back to the ingredients, is that, we're going to put in about a cup of frozen fruit. And today I'm going to go ahead and put in a little bit, I'm going to put in about a half a banana as well, maybe a little less than half of a small banana. That gives you a lot of potassium, even in this little bit amount, and it also gives you some sweetness. So if you're not used to having these blends, then it gives you some potassium along with some sweetness. And if you don't like bananas, well, it's a way of getting the nutrients from bananas, and you don't have the flavor of the banana. You don't necessarily, it's not overwhelming. The fresh fruit or frozen fruit, if you buy fresh fruit, it's on sale and it's organic, throw it in the freezer, buy extra. Or I go to the larger food chains, or club stores, and they all are starting to carry these organic blends in the frozen section for a great price. So you can't go wrong here. They're always in the freezer. And I always buy a mixed berry blend, a tropical blend, so I have choices for the family, choices for the kids. So it's a great way of getting your fruits in there and always having it in the freezer. I also add in other different kinds of fruits, and we'll talk about that in the future, especially seasonal things that are on sale. And if you can't buy organic in that section, and say it's a little too expensive, but always check the prices, because sometimes you'll find that organic is less expensive, or at least the same price in certain areas and certain seasons, especially with apples, as it is, or maybe it's 10 cents more a pound, as it is with the regular fruit that's got pesticides on it. And just make sure you're washing that fruit with a veggie wash. That will help for the fruits that you have to use that do not have any organic, that you're basically buying that's not organic. So the next thing I'm going to put in is, and this is just real basic, I have other things that I put in, and again, we're going to be going over more blends in the future, but this is going to be super basic. This is whole flaxseed. I bought the dark golden, not the light golden, doesn't really matter though. I buy them in bulk at a store called Sprouts. You can buy them at anywhere on bulk, or they actually have them in bags. You can buy the milled up kind and put that in yogurts and what have you, because your body cannot absorb any of the nutrients from flaxseed unless it's been blended up, unless it's been ground up beforehand. It just passes through your system otherwise. So these high watt blenders you can use whole, and it keeps longer, and you can just use it in here. Flaxseed is super high in great fibers and essential fatty acids and all kinds of other minerals and nutrients that give you just all kinds of energy. It's super good for you. One of the best things you can put into your diet. So I'd recommend you putting this in. And this is a couple tablespoons of flaxseed. So I'm going to put that in. And then I'm going to add in, personally, I love this protein. A little bit more pricey than some proteins, but not more than any other good whey protein that you would find out there on the market, which is more acidic to your kidneys, the whey protein is. If you are going to go with a whey protein, please check to see that it is an organic-based whey protein and does not have added hormones and what have you. I use a plant-based protein. I find that plant-based proteins of any sort, this particular one in general, and I'll put this below in the comments, is just from a ton of sprouted grains and seeds. And it is just amazing, and it has 20 grams of protein per scoop. I use about a half to 3/4, depending on the day, depending on time of day. Our bodies can only store carbohydrates and fats. We cannot store protein, so you need protein every couple hours to maintain healthy muscle mass, especially if you are working out, which you should be. And that helps you to keep your metabolism up, and it helps you to burn more fat at rest. When you're working out, you need protein, especially every couple hours, 2-3 hours. Doesn't have to be a ton, but you need to keep a base of that going in your diet. So I'm going to use about 3/4 of a cup. That's a little less than 20 grams, probably about 15 grams of protein, I would say. And this is such great protein. It's so bioavailable to your system that you don't need as much of it. It's super good for you, and it's not acidic to your kidneys. It actually helps your body to level in the alkaline, give your pH balance back. You could just throw this in some water, literally, and take it with you and shake it up if you wanted to, if you didn't have time to blend it. This is that good. It gives you all the nutrients you have. I mean, it just has everything in it that you need. So I put it in here. We can also, if you have yogurt instead of the protein, go with yogurt. Put yogurt in. You need somewhat of a protein source in this blend so that it gives you a whole meal. And it's really simple. I would say go with 3/4 of a cup to a cup of yogurt. If I am going to use any kind of dairy base, if you've got Greek yogurt is really high in protein and you can get a plain, I would suggest going with plain, getting off of the sugar. If you have to go with a vanilla or you have to go with a honey flavored, fine, go with that initially of the Greek yogurt. That gives you a lot of protein to start and yet doesn't taste quite so sour. And if you're not used to the sour, you can add a little bit of stevia in. Stevia is derived from an herb that's basically a leaf, and it's all natural. You can get an organic, and a little goes a long way. So you just put a little bit in there. If you need some more sweetness to start yourself out, to get used to these shakes, by all means, do what is necessary to get this going in your system. Basically, we're done. That's the ingredients. So we have our mixed greens. I have green kale, dinosaur kale or black kale, it's called. And I have spinach, baby spinach. Those are all organic. I keep those around all the time. I keep some in my freezer and I keep some in my fridge. Whenever I stop at the store, I have a chance to stop at the store, I get some more, especially when it's on sale, I buy extra. And we have some mixed berries and a little bit of banana. And we have our protein source and our flaxseed. That's it. So this is a start. This is a start in the right direction. This is what we have for breakfast when we're on the go during the weekdays. It's simple, early morning. You can take it with you. You can blend it at work if you take your blender to work. You can blend it at home. You can blend it for the kids, after school snack. This is an awesome way to get a ton of nutrients and energy from one source. So I'm going to put in some water, and if you like yours with ice, which I do, I like mine nice and thick and icy if at all possible. And so I put a little bit of water and I put some ice and I'm going to blend it away. So basically I blend for about a minute, maybe 45 seconds to a minute, till it's nice and liquefied and it's had a chance to break down all those cellular walls. You can tell it's kind of to the consistency you want. All right. Okay, so now we basically have it blended up to, like I said, it took maybe a minute. And not even a minute, I probably did it for about 45 seconds to close to a minute. Anyway, and here we go. So I can take this on the go, which I do often, and it is super good, super nutritious. Oh yeah, those berries taste really good in there. So thank you so much for joining me today. Join me again. We're going to be discussing so many fun things and so many different things that'll just kind of spark your interest in your health. It's one of the main things that we still have control over in this world is what we choose to consume. And if you're hungry enough for change, you will seek it out. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you liked what you saw, please like the video, share it with your friends, and be sure to subscribe. We're going to be having a lot more fun. Take care. Bye-bye.